Hi guys! So today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my entire face palette collection. So when I say face palettes, I mean palettes that have a bronzer, highlight, contour, blush in them, as well as all blush palettes or all highlighter palettes. They go on the face, so I consider them as face palettes. So I thought that I would just put them all in one video. As you guys can see, my face palettes are not like my eyeshadow palettes. I don't have that many face palettes, but the face palettes that I do own, I love a lot. Otherwise, I wouldn't keep them in my collection. I feel like face palettes are one of those products where you rarely buy them unless it really catches your eye, and that's how I feel with literally all of these. If you want to see my entire face palette collection, then keep on watching. Go ahead and start off with my blush palettes. So the first one I have is the Bellini blush palette, and I really enjoy this palette. It is very beautiful. I think a lot of different skin tones can get a lot of use out of this palette, and it's really affordable. BH Cosmetic blush formula is one of my favorite formulas for blushes. If you haven't checked them out, I highly recommend checking out their blushes because they are amazing. Next, I have the Ace Beauty Blush in Paradise palette. I got this in a BoxyCharm, and I can use pretty much 3 out of 4 shades, which is really nice. I like this formula. It's really pretty. This just isn't a palette that I really gravitate to because I do have a lot of these shades in other palettes. So these aren't really like revolutionary blush shades, but the formula is still really great. Then I have the Saharan Blush Volume 2 palette from Juvia's Place. This one, it was the first one that I purchased. I feel like this palette is aimed towards those of a lighter complexion, which is nice because she also has a Saharan Volume 1 palette, which we're going to get into a little bit later. There's a lot of shimmery blushes in here, which I can use as toppers. I do like this little mauve blush right here. I do love these 2 shades in this palette. Then I have the Moon Prism Blush from Lunar Beauty. Packaging is my absolute favorite, like one of my favorite packagings in my entire collection. Very beautiful. But the shades in here are really pretty. I pull this palette when I want a nice pretty wash of color, nothing too bold. Like today, I didn't put too much blush on because I have such a bold eye. For the last blush palette that I have, it is from Beauty Bakery. This is the Cotton Candy Champagne Blush Lighter Palette. I don't really use this one as much as I thought that I would. I was obsessing over this palette. I got this like maybe 2 months ago, and I really wanted it. The pictures online looked beautiful. I loved how it looked on different skin tones. My only thing with this is that some of the shades, maybe 2 of the shades in here, once you put it on the face, it kind of blends out to be the same color. It doesn't really look any different. But I do love these 2 colors in particular because these are pretty deep. But yeah, it's a really pretty palette. I do use this palette when I don't want to put on highlighter because you have a 2-in-1 situation going on. Now let's go ahead and move into highlighter palettes. So I have this one. I have a review up on my channel. It should be my last video. Definitely go and check it out. Or if it's not my last video, it's one of my more recent videos. I'll link it up here. This is the Froze palette from BH Cosmetics. They just added this to their Weekend Vibes collection. Obsessed with this. Very beautiful. I'm wearing it today. Very stunning. And a lot of different skin tones can use this palette. I think this is a palette that I'm going to reach for a while. Do not let this palette, like the lightness of this palette, deceive you because it is not that light. It is very pretty. So definitely don't let it deceive you. Next, I have the Glow Kit from Anastasia Beverly Hills. This was my first highlighter palette. It is so old, and I have lots of dips in this palette. I wish that I could repurchase this because it is just that old. I got this at Ulta for like $25 during Black Friday a couple years ago, and I just can't seem to part ways with this. I need to because it looks disgusting, but it's just really pretty. The shades in here are stunning. If you've tried their glow kits, then you know how good it is. Next up, I have the Jaclyn Hill Flare palette. I got this when it was 50% off on Morphe, so I got this not too long ago. I really do love this palette. It's really pretty. I haven't used it that much. The packaging is really luxurious and gorgeous. but the only thing that I wish it just wasn't as bulky as it is, but overall the product inside is really good. I have the Illuminating in Ireland palette from BH Cosmetics. This one is very different. I don't really use this one as much. Ooh, what was that? Ooh. So I don't really use this one as much, but I have gotten a good bit of use out of it. I do need to pull this out because there's some really pretty highlighters in here. Next up, I have the Living My Best Light highlighter palette from Beauty Bay. You guys know I love this palette. I pulled this one faithfully. This is my everyday highlighter palette. Very stunning. This palette is only $10, so you guys, I keep telling y'all, check out Beauty Bay's highlighters, and if you don't do it, you're just missing out. You're really just missing out because they're just that good. They're beautiful, very blinding. I love this so much. In a way, this kind of reminds me of the ABH Glow Kit. And lastly, for highlighter palettes, I have the Fenty Beauty Kilowatt Foil Highlighter. I haven't used this yet. I just got this from Sephora. It was like $15. And it's really pretty, so I thought this would be a nice, a beautiful fall highlighter palette. So I'm very excited about this. There's some really gorgeous shades in here. And I love her Kilowatt highlighter formula. It is very good. I have Trophy Wife, so you have a Trophy Wife. Then this palette is $15 on Sephora. Go get it. It's been on sale for the longest time though, but seriously, go get it. Now we're moving into face palettes that are a bit of a one-stop shop kind of thing. So the first one I have is the Glowing in Grease blush and highlighter palette from BH Cosmetics. We have beautiful terracotta blushes and beautiful highlighters to match, and this is such a beautiful fall palette. I need to put this to the side because this is such a good fall palette. Yeah, okay, that's going back here because that needs to come out. Then I have the Blushing and Bali blush and highlighter palette from BH Cosmetics. Also very beautiful, also perfect for the fall time. Need to pull this one out as well. This is good. This is helping me pull out the palettes I want to use for the fall. Then I have the Beauty Bakery Coffee and Cocoa palette. Absolutely love this. This is the perfect one-stop shop. You have a highlighter, you have a contour, you have a blush, and you have like a setting shade. You can use it to clean up your blush and contour. Love this palette a lot. We have this highlighter and blush palette from Cara Beauty. I love this. Very beautiful. Such a nice size. It's kind of like smaller and compact, but it's really pretty. I love the blushes in here. I can use every single blush. I can use every single highlighter. So I love palettes that I can literally use everything in there, and I'm not wasting my money by just using one or two shades out of a palette. So very, very nice. I think this is also $15. So definitely check out Cara Beauty. I love their products. They're really good. Also from Beauty Bakery, I have the Brownie Bar. I bought this specifically because I love having travel size palettes, and this is such a nice travel size palette. Very pretty. Okay, so this was a highlighter palette that got in this pile. This is from Morphe. I got this all on a BoxyCharm pop-up. This was like $6. This is also one of those colored highlighter palettes. Very pretty. I've been into colored highlighter. I don't know why, but I just have. Also from Morphe, this is their 8D Deep Glam palette, and this is like gonna be my go-to travel palette because it has everything in here. It has my favorite bronzer shade, it has a contour shade, it has two blushes, and it has some highlighters. So whenever I travel, which will be very soon, I will be taking this palette, and because it has everything in here and I don't need to bring a bunch of different things. So I'm really happy that Morphe came out with this because it's really great. I have a review of this on my channel. Go check it out. I'll link it in a card up here somewhere on the screen. Then next I have the Golden Hour Tammy X Revolution palette. This is from her newest collection. This is really nice. The only thing that I wish with this palette is that the blush shade was a little bit lighter, because once blended out on the face, it kind of can transfer into a bronzer type of shade. So that's my only thing with this palette. It was $15, so definitely check it out. Next we have the Saharan Blush Volume 1 palette. This is the one that I feel like is dedicated more to deeper skin tones than the Saharan 2 palette. which is really nice because we have really beautiful vibrant blushes. We have a contour, a bronzer, and 2 highlighters. So this is such a nice, well-rounded palette. I don't use this one as much. I need to because these shades are very unique, and I think this is a gorgeous fall face palette. So this is going right over here in that pile. And lastly, we have my absolute favorite face palette in the entire world. It's the blush binder from the Crayon Case. I feel like I've talked about this way too much on my channel, but if you're not familiar with it, it's 3 pages of a bunch of different blushes. You can use some of these shades as contour, bronzer, and of course blush. Some of these shades you can also use as like setting shades or shades to clean up your bronzer and your contour. Very nice. I love this palette. This is one of my favorite pieces of makeup that I own. I cherish this way too much, but it's just that good and very unique. I think it's the little things that like are so like that are unique that really mean the most to me. But I really love this palette. You guys, believe it or not, that was all of my face palettes. It does look like a lot, but I say roughly it's about 2, 4, 6. So I just counted and I have 21 face palettes, which I personally don't think that that's a lot. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.